Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. First of all, a disclaimer. I'm not a scholar, I'm not a very knowledgeable person. I just read this and I'm thinking of sharing it with everyone. So today I'll inshallah talk about Musab Ibn Umayr. Musab Ibn Umayr was a young boy, like probably 15, 16, of the richest family in Makkah. Richest family. His each dress was like of thousands of dinar. His shoes was from Yemen. And he was very much, taken care by his family. And he was not only stylish and rich, he was also very eloquent and smart. And that is why he used to move, he got quickly involved in the circle of leaders of Quraysh. And he learned from, there he learned that a man is claiming to be a prophet and he is, denying all the other gods and stuff like that. And they were bothered about it. He eventually got curious. And he one day went to the house of Al-Arqam and met Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam there and talked to him one-on-one. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam shared with him what Islam is. He showed him. He read Quran to him, and in his mind there was no denying that this is what truth is, and he accepted Islam. He could not go out and announce it openly because his mother was a very powerful woman. She was a very dominant type. And he said he'll hide it unless Allah Ta'ala will open some way for him. So he didn't tell anyone. But Makkah was a small place. Eventually somebody found out, saw him praying like Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the news spread, and soon he was standing in front of the chiefs and his mother. And they were asking that what's going on, and he admitted, and he gave the reasons why, and he read the Quran to them and asked them also. But they were absolutely upset about it. His mother asked her slaves to get hold of him, take him to the back of her house and tie him up good so that he never sees Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam again. Now that was absolutely, the greatest punishment that could have been for Musab Ibn Umayr. But he got tied to it, and he got stuck, and for the longest time. Eventually, he got the news that Muslims are going to Abyssinia, are escaping to Abyssinia. And so he planned, and he escaped with them somehow. And he made it to Habsha, and he stayed there. Eventually, he got the news that everything is okay. So he was the first one to come back, but there was things were even worse. So he escaped back again. And eventually he couldn't stay any further, and he came back. And his mother said, get him, and wanted to tie him again. And he said, you know what, don't come in my way now. Because anybody who comes in my way, I'm going to kill him. And her mother saw the determination and said, okay, fine, leave him alone. And she said, you have nothing to do with me anymore. And he got kicked out of that house, that family, and that money. And after that, he only had one dress, tone, and he would walk there, and he was just interested in the company of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In the 11th, 12th year, when the first group of people from Yadra, Medina, showed up and were interested in giving shelter to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Medina, Prophet Muhammad sent them back and sent Musab Ibn Umayr, the first da'i from Makkah to Medina, to teach the people from there. Now look at this, there were senior people there, and Prophet Muhammad did not send anybody else, but he sent Musab Ibn Umayr. He had a friend over there named Sa'd ibn Zurara, and he stayed in his house. Both of them were Muslims. They went around, met the people they knew, and they talked to them, and people started to become Muslims. Now that was, some of the people got irritated by that. Once Musab ibn Umayr and Sa'd ibn Zurara was sitting with other people, other Muslims, and those who were not Muslims but were interested in it. And this Utbah ibn Ubay, I believe was the name, he saw them sitting on his garden. He came with a spear in his hand. He said, oh, what are you guys doing here? Get up and leave before I kill you. You're changing the minds of these weak people. And Zayd ibn Zurara, when he saw him coming, he told Musab ibn Umayr that he is a chief, and if he returns, that will be great. So Musab Ibn Umayr, he said back to Musab Ibn Umayr that, will you not sit and listen? And if I say something that you like, then you accept it. And if you don't like what you hear, you tell us, and we'll never show our face to you again. We will not talk to you. We'll leave. And Musab Ibn Umayr said, fine, sure. And he put the spear on the ground, and he said, yeah, go ahead. What is it? And Musab Ibn Umayr started telling him, and before he was finished, the expression on his face, people reported, was already changed. And he said, by the time Musab Ibn Umayr got finished, he said, okay, what do I have to do to become a Muslim? And he said, go take a shower, change your clothes, get clean up, come back, do 2 rakat, and do the shahada and 2 rakat, and that's good. And he said, I'll send you another more people. They are chiefs, and if they convert, then it will be great. And then came in Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. And Sa'd ibn Ubaydah, I believe, is the last name. Of course, I don't have the paper, so my references are absolutely weak, and I'm no scholar. The 2 leaders, both were from Aus, a powerful tribe. Sa'd ibn Mu'adh was from Aus. I'm not sure about Sa'd ibn Ubaydah or Ubadah. Anyway, those 2 leaders also got converted that day. And then, of course, the rest of the Medina was like, okay, if these 3 leaders have, these powerful people have changed, then we have to change too. There must be a reason. Let's go to Musab Ibn Umayr. And next year, they were like, within a year, there were like 72 people that went for first pledge of Aqaba to Mecca. And so Musab Ibn Umayr was highly successful as Da'i. He was the absolutely good man. He showed the truth the way it was. And people could not resist accepting it. And he was, so those people went back again. And by the time, so he kind of prepared the ground for Hijrah. And eventually people did the Hijrah. And he took part in Badr also. In Badr, his brother got captured. And he was still a kafir. And he was a prisoner of war. So once Musab ibn Umayr was walking by the prisoners, and the guy and the Muslim who has to take care of his brother, he was sitting with him, and Musab ibn Umayr told the Muslim brother that tie him good. His mother has a lot of money, and his brother says, "This is what you have to say to me in this situation." He said, "You are not my brother. He is my brother." And in Uhud, when the things went wrong for Muslims, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was exposed, and there was an inevitable attack coming towards him. Musab ibn Umayr was holding a flag, and he charged right into it to block it as much as he can. And the only thing he was saying was, Muhammad is just a messenger. There has been messengers before him too. And that's the only line he was repeating. And somebody cut his hand that he was holding the flag with. He held it with another hand. When it was cut, he was holding it in his stumps. And eventually, he was killed. He fell off the horse. He was shaheed. And when the day was over, and Prophet Muhammad found his body, and he did not have enough kafan, the cloth to cover the body. So if they would cover his head, his legs would get exposed. And if they would cover his legs, his head would get exposed. And eventually Prophet Muhammad said that just cover his legs with the leaves. And that's how they buried him. And the greatest died died shaheed that day in Uhud. I'll inshallah talk about other Sahaba next time also. So inshallah, see you then. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.